Prince Andrew joined his ex-wife Sarah Ferguson as the pair drove to Windsor Castle on Sunday. The ex-couple, who still live together at the Royal Lodge in Windsor Great Park, drove a Land Rover Defender down the long walk to head castle grounds and walk their corgis. Sarah, 64, took in the late Queen's corgis after her death in September last year, and have been seen regularly walking them in and around Windsor. The appearance comes as Sarah Ferguson, known as Fergie, is set to guest edit This Morning Today. The Duchess will be giving out relationship advice during her own Agony Aunt segment. Fergie will join Alison Hammond and Dermot Allery for the special show, which she will also edit alongside boss Martin Frizzell. She said, "I have appeared on This Morning before, but this time I am coming back with a very different role. I love live TV and am an enormous fan of the show, and the whole team is always lovely to deal with." She added, "I am thrilled to be guest editing the show, which will mean getting to explore some topics that I am passionate about." Some of the other topics which she will discuss include importance of defibrillators, how best to rehome a dog, how to protect your skin, as well as an interview with Sir Cliff Richard. This Morning's editor Martin Frizzell said of his new guest signing, "We are all delighted Sarah, Duchess of York, wanted to come back here, and I am very happy for her to make some of my decisions on Monday. She has a great understanding of the show and how television works, and I feel viewers will be really interested in the running order she is putting together." There is no suggestion yet that Fergie, the ex-wife of Prince Andrew, will be a regular host, but This Morning bosses have been screen testing several stars as they search for a new duo following the departures of Holly last month and Philip Schofield in May. The late Queen, who owned several of the breed throughout her lifetime, was survived by corgis Sandy and Muick. Speaking at the Henley Literary Festival, Sarah said that she's well aware that the two new additions to her household are national treasures who have been trained well. As Sarah and Andrew already shared 5 Norfolk Terriers, the two corgis have had to integrate with them. She said, "They all balance out. The carpet moves as I move, but I've got used to it now." The dogs had been a gift to the Queen from Andrew and his daughters Princess Beatrice and Eugenie following the death of the Duke of Edinburgh. It was believed Andrew and Sarah had been walking the dogs in the months leading to the Queen's death. The Queen owned more than 30 of the Sandy, short-legged dogs throughout her reign after her father gave her her first corgi for her 18th birthday. Her dogs were given the royal treatment, having their own rooms with elevated wicker baskets and meals of beef, chick, rabbit, liver, cabbage and rice being prepared by a chef each evening. The appearance comes amid rumors that King Charles privately believes his younger brother has no long-term future at his royal home have been circulating, despite the fact he gave Andrew more time to prove he can pay his way for the mansion's upkeep. One family friend said, "In all honesty, I would not expect to see the Duke of York living at Royal Lodge in the long term. If he could pay the upkeep, then he would be welcome to stay. But the chances of that happening are, frankly, remote." He and the Duchess are rattling around in a huge property they simply can't afford. The King culled Andrew's annual allowance, believed to be in the region of £250,000 following the emergence of the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. Andrew is said to have paid sexually abused Epstein victim Virginia Roberts £12 million to settle a case she brought against him outside court, allegations he strenuously denied. Last month, Andrew was pictured going around Windsor Great Park on horseback. The father of two sported navy jodhpurs and a zip-up jumper featuring a royal cipher on it for the outing, making sure to don a riding helmet and gloves. In September, he appeared to enjoy his equestrian activities and Range Rover driving very regularly. The pictures follow reports that the beleaguered Duke of York has been granted permission by the monarch to stay indefinitely at his Windsor mansion after they thrashed out a new deal. The pair have been at loggerheads over Charles' demands that Andrew and his ex-wife, Sarah, move out of the 30-room royal property, which has problems with damp and requires several £1 million worth of repairs, into somewhere smaller, such as Harry and Meghan's old home, Frogmore Cottage. The Mirror reported last month that Andrew had been granted a stay of execution after Charles accepted his brother should be given time to prove he can pay for the mansion's upkeep. Multiple well-placed sources in royal circles have told the Mail that the prince isn't being realistic about his financial situation after being forced to step back from public duties. A family friend said, "It's all a bit cloud cuckoo land, I am afraid. No one, not least His Majesty, believes there is any realistic, long-term chance of the Duke of York being able to keep the roof at Royal Lodge over his head." It's a massive property and estate that requires a huge amount of upkeep. The King's powers to remove Andrew are limited because he took on the late Queen Mother's Grade II listed property from the Crown Estate in 2004 on a long-term lease and has funded many millions of pounds worth of renovations. If King Charles did persuade him to move, then the Crown Estate could even end up owing Andrew money.